Hey, today we're going to walk you through how to change a flat tire on a bike. We're just going to go through the basics because we don't want you to be overwhelmed, but we just want to show you just enough if you have a flat tire out on the road that you can change it. So first of all, we want to go to the front wheel and explain how to take the wheel off. Okay, this is a quick release front wheel. So the way you actually take the wheel off is you have to flip this lever down. So right now it's in the closed position, and when it's all the way down, the wheel will want to drop out, but it's got sort of a safety catch in there. So what we actually have to do is hold on to the quick release on the other side and actually unscrew this. What that's doing is allowing the wheel enough space on the axle to drop out of the front fork. And that's how you take the front wheel off. So the basic tools, I just want to go through what you need to actually change a flat. First of all, you need a set of tire levers. You usually need 2 of them. The other thing you need is a tube. The third thing, you'd need like a hand pump or a floor pump if you're changing a flat at home. If you're out on the road, you need a floor pump. You also need a seat bag to actually carry the tube, the extra tube, and the tire levers in. And when it's actually mounted on a seat post, like a seat bag would actually look like that. And so those are the basic items that you need, to change your flat out on the road. Alright, so you've got your wheel off, and of course your tire is going to be pretty much flat. If it's not flat already, or totally flat, take the tire lever that you're going to use to pry the tire off, and actually use the part that holds onto the spoke and let the air completely out of the tire. So when the tire is completely flat, then you're going to take the tire lever with the spoon part right here, and you're actually going to stick it in underneath the bead of the tire and actually pry it out and hook this part right here around the spoke. So we've got the first tire lever underneath here, and so we're just going to go down to the next spoke just right over here that's on the same side. We're going to take another tire lever and put it underneath the bead, and then you can see how the tire is coming out. This is actually the bead part, and it's coming out of the rim. This is actually what hooks, underneath the rim. So what we're going to do is take the tire lever and actually slide that all the way around. And so it's exposing just one side, and if your other tire lever falls out, that's fine at that point. So once you've got that all the way out like that, some people like to take the tire all the way off, some people don't, but you can actually remove the tube at this point if you don't want to take both sides off. And you can see how I take the tube out. Once the tube is all the way out, what you want to do is actually run your hand on the inside of the tire to make sure there's nothing in there puncturing it. And in this case, I'll go all the way around. And right here is what caused the flat tire, which is actually a thorn. I don't know if you can see that. And if I pull it out here, that's actually the thorn that caused the puncture. If you don't check the inside of your tire and you try and put a new tube back in, it's just going to re-puncture it. So we want to make sure you get whatever's caused the flat, get that out. So now what we need to do is get a new tube and install it in the tire. Alright, so now you need to have a new tube to put in, and right here we've got a Bontrager tube, and how we know it's the right size, it's a 26 by 175 to 2.125, and actually how we know that is on the side of the tire, it says right here 26 by 2.0, so we know that's the right size of tube for this wheel. So I'm going to pull the tube out of the box, and just for the sake of going with the theme that you're actually out on the road and you have a flat tire, we're going to use a Bontrager pump that you should carry with you, or any kind of inflation device like this. So I'm going to push the stem into the head of the pump, and so what we do is just press that on there and then lock this back to lock it on there. And then what we're going to do is just pump it up just enough to give the tube some shape. So we want it to be sort of the shape of the tire. You can see how it's taking shape there. And then what we can do is flip this lever back down, pull the stem out, so now you're ready to reinstall the tube. So now that we got the tube and it's got its shape, what we're going to do is take the wheel and find the hole in the rim. What we're actually going to do is drop the stem down in through it, and then we're going to force the tube, or work the tube all the way back into the tire. like I said, sometimes people prefer, to have the tire all the way off, or some people like to keep the tire halfway on. So you can see how we've got the tube all the way in there. And now what we have to do is start pushing the bead back into the rim. So I'm just going to use my thumbs and sort of hold one thumb stationary right here and sort of work all the way around the bead. And I'm keeping this thumb over here stationary. I'm working it all the way around. I'm going to flip the wheel around. You can see the bead is almost all the way in. And then if you have problems at this point getting the tire forced all the way back on its bead, you can actually take the tire lever again and put it in here and actually pry the tire back on, and you can see it's all the way back on. So at this point, you're ready to start pumping it up. All right, so now we want to make sure that the stem's pulled all the way down out of the rim. And what I usually do is when I do this to put the pump back on, I want to make sure that my thumb is against the back side of this, so when I push this on, it doesn't force the tube back up into the rim. So if I push that on, then what I can do is actually lock this lever back down, and then we are ready to pump it up. And so what I'm doing is actually holding my hand behind this just to stabilize the pump, and you just pump it up. So now that we got the tire all aired up, it's ready to go up into the fork, into the dropouts, and the dropout's actually this part that the axle actually slides into. So what we're going to do is line everything up. Now that we have the wheel up here, you can see the quick release. I'm going to try and get a better angle for you. But you can see how the quick release is loose again because it's not going to stay up in the dropout. So what we actually have to do is turn this side, the knob, to tighten this up, to secure it. And as I tighten that up, you can see how the wheel's not wanting to drop out as easy. And so when we get it to a position where this quick release is tight, is getting tight, that's where we want it, because you don't want it too loose or you don't want it too tight to where you can't get it up. So you just push that in, that's where it's at, and your wheel's back on. You're ready to roll. That's just the basics on how to change a flat tire. If you have questions, just give us a call or stop by the shop anytime. We'll be glad to show you how to do it.